Hello and welcome to SoulSurvivor 04. Our planet, our responsibility. My name's MJ, your host throughout the SoulSurvivor series. We have a great message to share with you today from our channel source, the group consciousness Eternal Light. Eternal Light will be discussing the ecology of our planet and our responsibility as individuals and groups to affect positively on the Earth and our future generations. This message came through quickly following a more general discussion with Eternal Light. As a result, there's a slightly abrupt start to this message. Now, let's get to it.
You must not be hassled by the world as it is, for so much angst and anguish and distress is occurring at this time. Your governments are doing what they feel is right, and they can only work with the problem on the surface. But many people feel the distress of being parted from their loved ones. They wish to be with them, to absorb their energy and give their energy to their family and their friends, and this is starting to be denied to them yet again. Where you are highly evolved, but you have become the dominant species of your world, and this is where you have reached this climax where the only way now, in your eyes and in many, is to come down, for you have dominated all living species on your planet. And this is now coming home to roost, for no longer can you do this without untold damage. All the living species are under threat, for they cannot survive on the little land you now designate them. And even this is under review. You cannot continually take from the planet, for it too needs to nurture and be repaired. Many of you are aware, and it is stressing all of you, that people in power seem to carry on regardless. They continue to pull down the ancient forests around the world, and they continue to plough the land to produce food for their livestock. They are, by doing this, taking food from the other living creatures, and therefore they are starting to reduce in numbers. This is a time of reckoning. It is by no means finished. It is not a done deal, as you would say. For the human race is very intelligent, and some could say far too intelligent for their own good. But nevertheless, they have the ability to pull back on this and to regenerate the planet. But the will has got to be there. And it will not come from the people who hold all the cards. It has to come from the people at ground level, for they know what will be lost. For the people at the top of the chain, they do not share the same sentiment, for they are cocooned in their own world They have built their castles and they do not have the same attitude to what is happening at ground level. So for you, the great population of the world, you are the ones who have to actively find solutions, and your brains are very adequate to do this. We see much from our viewpoint, and we are able to see so much hope that this can be achieved. For so many of you, you know that you have got to take personal responsibility for what you do, for where you go, for the fuel that you use, for the consumer objects that you take into your home. What can you do that will reduce the content of landfill, as you call it, where all of this is buried underground? And yet there comes a time when the land can take no more. We hope and we know that you are a great species, and when you are under threat, you will work at your best to find the way forward for all of you to take account of what needs to be done. You will have to do this in groups. You will have to find people who have like minds, for together you can conquer the scourge of your world. The biggest thing that you must bear in mind is if you all do little things towards saving your planet and returning it to the glorious world that it once was, all of those little things add up to one great movement by you all. Take heart. Do not be deterred when you think, what is the use of me not using plastic? What is the use of me not buying loads of clothes? But my dear ones, that collectively, this is where it will make a difference. And there are so many things, like the fuel that goes into planes, the fuel that goes into ships and trains and all methods of transport. Already you are seeing the results of using it less, for your skies are clearing, your seas are returning to having life in them, where once it has been pushed away. So the signs are there, and this is what you must all cling on to. You have been shown the way, and now you need to form and join communities where this is the target to increase. As we have said previously, do not look to governments. For governments, this is not work that they are able to produce in any real meaning, for their eye is on a different target. It isn't a target where nowadays the prime objective of government is to source wealth and to always be looking for more. As you go back through your history, you will see times where countries dominated lands. They took the land and made it theirs. They took the people who lived on it and made it their possession, for they were to work to produce their riches. This was seriously not what was planned for the human race. But it has happened, and lessons can always be learnt from history. But governments will not look that way. They will repeat the same problem again and again, for their mind is fixed in one direction. They are not there to save the planet. That, my dear ones, is your objective, your work. We feel that many of you realise the dire consequences, and they realise that work needs to be done. And you go about it in such a great way, for you have realised that to put the world right, your children and future generations must think in a totally different way. And we applaud you and the many good people who broadcast to you the importance of teaching future generations, for they will look with wonder at nature. You see children and their eyes light up at looking at little creatures, at seeing how nature works. And we thank the great teachers who show the children this, and the great parents who know its importance. Please carry on with this good work and show the children how things can be corrected, for there is much information out there, and we know you will embrace this. We know in your hearts that you are all wishing to save and put right the things that have gone wrong. So please all take heart. You and so many like you are all thinking the same thing. Gather and in your communities find friends who think alike, who share your thoughts, and together all of you will go forward as an army of good. We thank you for coming and listening to us, and we will continue, for we wish to light up the hearts and the souls of many of you who perhaps have looked with jaded eyes and sorrow and distress at what they feel their world is like. But please take heart, and we all together bless you and look forward to channeling with you once more.
Thanks for tuning in and listening to SoulSurvivor 04. We hope you enjoyed the message. If you'd like to follow us on social media, then please check out our website www.soulsurvivornow.com, where you can find the links. Thanks for listening.